The Oakland A's yesterday announced that starting from next season, they will no longer be known as the Oakland A's. They'll be moving to a Triple-A stadium in Sacramento for 2 seasons known as just the A's before they attempt to move to Las Vegas. It's a disgrace, it's a tragedy, and MLB should never have allowed this to happen. It's actually really annoyed me, and I want to rant on it. So let's talk baseball. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Let's Talk Baseball. I'm your host, Tom Skulls, and normally I introduce this with a bit more energy. Normally I introduce this with a bit more oomph and a bit more, it's great to be here, all of this kind of stuff. And whilst I am glad to be behind this mic right here, the subject today has annoyed me, and has annoyed me for quite some time, to be perfectly honest. Yesterday, the Oakland A's, or the A's, the Athletics, whatever they're called from now on, announced that they will leave Oakland after this season and will play temporarily in a minor league park in Sacramento until their new stadium in Las Vegas has been built. The A's announced the decision to play at the home of the Sacramento Rivercats, the Triple-A affiliate of the San Francisco Giants, from 2025 to 27, with an option for 2028 on Thursday, after being unable to reach an agreement to extend their lease in Oakland during that time. As a neutral fan of the sport of baseball, as a fan of the league itself, this is a disgrace. This should never have been allowed to happen. And quite frankly, Major League Baseball, regardless of how much involvement they actually had in this, the fact they haven't stepped in and sorted this out is embarrassing, cowardly. You can throw anything in there. It's annoyed me, this. I've done some research on it. I've read the quotes. It's not going to be as structured as normal. It's not going to be as formulaic as normal. It might just be me. I might just take some gaps every now and again just to figure out exactly what it is I want to say. But the owner of the Oakland Athletics said, "We explored several locations for a temporary home, including the Oakland Coliseum. Even with the long-standing relationship and good intentions on all sides in the negotiations with Oakland, the conditions to achieve an agreement seemed out of reach. We understand the disappointment this news brings to our fans, as this season marks our final one in Oakland. Throughout this season, we will honor and celebrate our time in Oakland, and will share additional details soon." The A's announced their intention last April, to move to Las Vegas, and last November, the Major League Baseball owners voted unanimously to approve the application to relocate, which in itself is a disgrace. I want to preface this by saying, I have said in episodes before, you can go back and listen to the audio of them, a team in Las Vegas isn't a bad thing. You know, I've been there twice for the NFL projects that we do, and to be quite honest, it is a place that would, I don't know if thrive is the right way of describing it, but it would embrace it the same way it has done the Las Vegas Golden Knights. There are people there that love the Knights. Maybe the fact they win helps, but they embrace them quite early on, and maybe they would do the same for the Athletics. However, The difference between the A's and the Golden Knights is the Las Vegas Golden Knights are Vegas's team. The Raiders aren't. The Knights are. Because they were an expansion team. The difference between the two is, with the A's and the Golden Knights, is the Las Vegas Athletics are not Las Vegas's team. Yes, I know the Oakland Athletics relocated in the 50s, but they're predominantly known as Oakland's team. So in the eyes of many, the Las Vegas A's would be Oakland's team. I've been to the site where the proposed stadium would be. Yeah, it's a good location. It's not a bad one. But it would just become another thing. It's not like the Allegiant Stadium, where it's its own unique look off the strip, where you can recognise it as a landmark. No, it's not that. It would be in amongst traffic. It would be in amongst hotels, casinos, all of that. It would just be another part of the strip. Now, Las Vegas wanting a team is something that I've spoken about and I'm quite supportive of, but an expansion team. Not taking someone else's team. Taking someone else's team is cowardly. Because it's too much hard work and too much effort to do it yourself. Why do it yourself when you can just take somebody else's? And it worked so well when they took the Raiders, they decided to take another one of Oakland's teams. It annoys me that this is a practice common in American sports. And it's a stain on the culture of American sports. Seattle hasn't been the same since they lost the Supersonics. And for a generation of fans, the Oklahoma City Thunder will never be their own entity. They will always be the Seattle Supersonics. The Montreal Expos are another example. It winds me up that yet again, due to the decisions of owners and commissioners, fans lose out again. Fans will miss out on this. They will miss out on yet another team leaving their area because owners just want more money. It's a farce. It's greed. It's as simple as that. I was watching a clip from the Baseball is Dead podcast. Jared Carabis, Dallas Braden were there, and you can see in Braden's face how emotional he is, and the reaction from the other guys on the show about the situation. I 100% full-heartedly agree. It is a disgrace. It is a sham. It is a farce. It's a situation born entirely out of greed that could have been avoided entirely. Yet no one thought to stop it. Why? All you can do is shrug your shoulders because no one knows. Hang on a minute. No, actually, we do know. It's because there's more money there. They're enticed and excited by the prospect of Las Vegas money in your league. And I get it. It is tantalising. It is the kind of place that people always look at and go, ooh, maybe not necessarily starry-eyed anymore, but there is an air of intrigue about the place that makes you go, this could be fun. And that resonates with sports as well. The NFL wanted a team there. NHL got a team there. The NBA will probably want a team there. And Major League Baseball wants a team there. And because of this greed, because of this embarrassment of a situation, they might be getting one. in 3 years' time, 4 years' time, 5 years' time, whenever it may happen. And no one's going to do anything to halt the situation. Because they don't want to. And the only people that have tried to do anything about it have been the fans. And ultimately, in the nicest way possible, the people with the least amount of power in the situation are the Oakland fans. And that's the sad bit. They've campaigned, they've protested, they have raised awareness for this situation, they have raised awareness of how people feel about the situation. They have done everything within their power to do so. People like Casey Pratt on social media, who has followed everything, has been everywhere, has asked all the questions. They're the people that will suffer from this. And yes, I know what people are saying. But the Coliseum isn't very good. No, it isn't. Let's be truthful about it. The Oakland Coliseum is a dump. It's the worst stadium in the league, by far. No family's going to look at that. They're not going to look at the Coliseum and go, you know what we should do? We should spend the day there. That's not a place families go. But there's a different solution than relocating the team. The different solution is building a new stadium in Oakland. If you really wanted to stay in Oakland, of course. But if you didn't, if you wanted to stay in Oakland and you valued the people of Oakland, you'd find a way to build a new stadium, a modern stadium, an upgraded stadium that families would want to go to, that would get more attendances. But instead they've decided to leave. And rather than build a new stadium, they've decided the best way to go about this is to relocate the team entirely, not just to Las Vegas, but to Sacramento for 2 years, maybe 3, and then you've got to make sure that your stadium's built. And then you've just got to hope. That's basically what it is. The fact that they're preparing for the Las Vegas situation to be delayed says a lot about the situation. The fact that the team will not be called the Sacramento A's, it's just the A's, means they won't have to make any more merchandise for like hats and that. The shirts will be the same because it just says athletics. The hats will be the same because it just has an A on it. Nothing changes. There is no rebrand going on. It is exactly the same. They've just moved them away from Oakland, away from their fan base. They're going to have to start all over again in a place that isn't theirs for 2 to 3 years because the owner wants to move and wants more money. It's as simple as that. No one benefits from this situation. The fans lose their team. Oakland loses a third team. The Warriors went to San Francisco. The Raiders went to Vegas. The A's have now gone to Sacramento and then will move to Vegas. The players are now having to uproot their families for the sake of an owner. It's ridiculous. You signed up to be an Oakland A. Yes, this season you probably knew what was going on. You probably knew there was a chance that something would change and something would happen. That's a different story. But if you're there as a rookie who has maybe settled in Oakland, who has been with the organisation for a number of years, and now you have to move everything again, it's a disgrace. The league itself does not come out of this with any flowers with it. It's a horrible stench that is floating around and hovering around the league, all because owners want more money, all because owners are enticed and excited by the prospect of going to Vegas for a bit. And I understand it, to an extent. I don't agree with it, but I understand the way of thinking. And John Fisher, the owner, a coward of a man who openly admitted at the press conference in Sacramento yesterday that he is very excited to see players like Aaron Judge hit home runs in the AAA ballpark the A's will be playing in Sacramento. Yep, the owner of the A's openly admitted he was happy to see opposing players score runs against his team. That's how much he cares about the A's. There's also a very high chance that the reason he said Aaron Judge is because he panicked and didn't know a single Oakland A player. What an idiot. No one comes out of this situation with any credit around their neck. And they don't care. They're not bothered. The league gets a team in Vegas. The owners see dollar signs. John Fisher sees dollar signs. The fans lose another team. The players are relocated again in an organisation that doesn't pay them, that doesn't care for them, that doesn't value them. And the Oakland Coliseum is just going to be a car park. That's all it's going to be. Oakland offered a deal that was fair to the A's and was fiscally responsible for our city, Oakland Mayor Sheng Tiao said in a statement. We wish the A's the best and will continue our conversations with them on facilitating the sale of their share of the Coliseum site. The city of Oakland will now focus on advancing redevelopment efforts at the Coliseum. According to a person briefed on the negotiations, Oakland's final offer to the team to stay in the city for the 2025-27 seasons, including a $60 million lease extension fee the A's would pay, down from $97 million the city had previously proposed. The A's were also asking MLB to provide the city with an exclusive one-year window to find an owner for an expansion team. And apparently, this is from the Athletics piece on the situation. Just before the bottom, there's a little bit that says, it is not clear what upgrades or modifications are required to ensure that Sutter Health Park, the AAA ballpark the A's will be playing in Sacramento, meets the standards called for by the Sports Collective Bargaining Agreement. The Major League Baseball Players Association had preliminary discussions with MLB about a range of issues related to the temporary relocation, and we expect those discussions to continue. The park just recently went through a multi-million-dollar facilities renovation. We will ensure that the ballpark will continue to be modified to meet MLB standards, including upgrading LED lighting and adding an additional clubhouse, amongst other items, the A's said in a statement. They are moving to a ground that does not have the required facilities to be a Major League Baseball ballpark. Brilliant. Just what we needed. I can't believe it, but we're about to see load management from the stars in Major League Baseball. We saw it in the NBA, and we're going to see it in the MLB. And you want to know why that is? Because every time a big team is playing against the A's away from home, no big player's going to want to go. No one's going to want to go into that situation, into that clubhouse. The additional clubhouse. Why have you not got two already? George Steinbrenner in the Subway series, right? He went mental. He went ballistic at the state of the away dressing room at Shea Stadium. I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, but imagine if this happened. Imagine if George was here. Imagine if George was here and this was happening. He might have okayed it, and it's an owner thing. But he wouldn't be letting his stars play in this. They would not be playing in this stadium. The whole thing is an embarrassment. The whole thing is just embarrassing. And everybody can see it. Some people can see it and want something to change. Other people can see it and just don't care. Those other people own the A's, own Major League Baseball teams, and run the league. Now you can see it's annoyed me. Oakland has lost 3 teams. The Warriors left. They let the Raiders go. But for this one, they tried. According to reports. Maybe not as well as they should have, but they tried with this one. It just has become abundantly clear that the A's and John Fisher and the ownership group of the A's just wanted to leave. They don't want to be in Oakland. They don't want to be by the bay. They'd rather be in Sacramento in a AAA ballpark for 2 to 3 years before moving to Las Vegas, where they've got to do it all again. Where their home games are going to be more predominantly filled with fans of the opposing team. I can't go into the future, but I can watch Raiders games, and that's exactly what happens. That's exactly what happens. Yes, there are some Raiders fans in there, but a lot of people look at it and go, "It's a good away day, that. Get a few days out in Vegas, go watch our team play. Shabba dabba doo." Another thing to point out as well, the Oakland A's Twitter account hasn't had replies on for quite some time, and when they announced they were moving to Sacramento at the end of this season, they still didn't turn the replies on. It just shows how cowardly that they are. Not necessarily the social media team. They are probably just doing what they're told from those above. It's those above that are the cowards. I have no connection to the place. I have no connection to any of the teams involved in this. But it is irritating to see as a fan of the league, whether you look at it and go, when you want the positive energy from the league and people to recognise exactly why you like it, and then you go onto newspaper websites and then you go onto Twitter and you see that this is what is, trending at the moment. It just leaves a sour taste in your mouth. And all you can do is sigh. Because there's been some historic players that have played for this team. Mark Maguire, Ricky Henderson, Jose Canseco. And all I can think of when I look at things like this is, if this was my team, how would you react? And I'm gonna go to a tweet from John Boy, who blows hot and cold with some people. I know this all sucks and screw the A's and all that, but spring training vibes for big league games is going to be kind of cool. No. Firstly, no. And then he says, I'm just saying, if I was a Yankees fan in Sacramento and I got to go sit in the outfield grass and watch the Yankees play a real game, I'd enjoy the novelty of it. Then someone said, would you be saying the same thing if this was your team? No, you wouldn't. 100% would not be saying this. I would be furious and despondent. And I get it, to an extent. Yeah. I in a weird way, this is exactly what I was saying about what's going to happen if and when they go to Vegas. The people that will be enjoying themselves more will not be the A's fans. It will be the fans of the opposing team that are looking at it and going, oh, this is novel. I've never done this before. They're gonna enjoy it more than the A's people will. Yes, the Coliseum was a dump. Yes, it was filled with cats, raccoons, possums, all of that kind of stuff. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows the place needed an upgrade. It didn't need the team to move. Didn't need the team to leave. And if this was my team, I'd probably be done with the sport, to be honest. Not because I wouldn't be able to enjoy it, but because of the way they treated the team I would love. And I can understand how the A's fans would be if they turned their back on the sport now and understand it, or at least actively root against wherever the A's land up. It's not great. It's not great at all. Yeah, the conditions for the Coliseum are terrible. But it doesn't mean relocate the team. It doesn't mean up sticks and go elsewhere. It certainly doesn't mean going to a AAA ballpark. Just stay in Oakland. If you're that destined to go to Vegas, then just stay in Oakland for as long as you can. Give the fans something. Instead, they've now got an impromptu final season that... Who's really that bothered anymore? Ah, what a great send-off. They're gone forever now. Great. It's a disgrace. It's a farce. It was done by greed. And I hate it. And everybody should hate it. This has been Let's Talk Baseball. It's not been a cheery one at all. It's been 26 minutes of just nonsense, to be honest. Of me just chatting nonsense. But it's all off the top. All off the top of the head. And just going with it, you know? I hate the situation. I hate how they've treated the A's fans. I have a lot of respect for fans like that. And this would be a case for whoever the team was. I don't like the Mets, but if the Mets left, I'd want them to back them up as well, and I'd want them to stay. I wouldn't want Red Sox fans to lose their team. As annoying as Boston fans are, you shouldn't lose your team this way. This has been Let's Talk Baseball. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, to the podcast. Like, comment, all of that kind of stuff. Keep an eye out on the TikTok for the videos that are coming out. Short form videos of this. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.